Um, so we were just talking off recording. This came out April 30th, and you were just saying how you read it, you kind of stopped thinking about it. I kind of felt the same way, and I think that's
Okay.
why I didn't because I didn't even message you about it. I wasn't like even thinking about recording, which is like super weird. I also like read it um like before I went to bed, so it kind of was like it was just a little weird, you know?
Yeah, it's like one of those things you're like kind of reading it, but also kind of like dozing off maybe.
Well, it felt it was the annual, but it felt like a regular issue, just
Yeah.
extended. And
Yeah.
I don't really, I mean, I'm glad it like pertains to the main story. I always hate the annuals that like have nothing to do with what's going on. Like it feels like a waste.
Yeah.
Um, but I also hate like sometimes when like the annual like you need to read it. So there's like kind of
Mhm.
there's a balance.
Yeah. Well,
JD
like
and I have
see
talked about it before with that.
yeah, and like I feel like Marvel kind of has the same problem too, is
Yeah.
with some of their annual like and they've gotten better because they'll do like more anthology style stuff for their annuals these days. It'll be like one or two main stories by usually the writer of that current series, and then you have like maybe one side story and then like a reprint, like I've seen in the past they've done that of like an old
Yeah.
ish that might have some kind of connection to the current run, like, and I know DC's I think they've dabbled in that a couple of times, but never like anything consistent. I don't know, I've always been weird about annuals. They're just like a weird thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Well,
a way for them to get a couple extra bucks, I feel.
yeah.
you know
Well, at least with DC on like DC Infinite, the annuals are normally like included in when you hit like a series. But like the
yeah,
thing I hate about like Marvel Unlimited is like sometimes like
they're
you'll just
separate.
yeah, it's separate. So sometimes like you'll
Yeah.
just not read the annual, and then you'll get to an issue where it's like as referenced in the annual, and I'm like,
Yeah.
crap.
That
You know
see,
what I mean?
like
Like,
I've been reading Thor since, Journey 83, like I started last year,
yeah,
and I haven't read any of the annuals because I just could not be bothered to like go not yet. I mean, I'll go back and read them after I've like finished what I haven't read of the main series, but like it's all stuff that I didn't feel like I missed out on because the main book did a good job of just summing it up for me, you know?
yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't
Yeah,
know. It's weird.
I feel like before we really get into it, like the main thing coming out of this annual is basically the rogues are kind of just messing with Wally, making him think, making him see certain things, making him think
Yeah.
that, it's all like kind of a scheme of basically making him believe that he's the problem and that he's better off
I
not being there.
Right. And I think it's nice to see like them not playing Wally like that, but also like playing Barry like in the almost in the same way. Like they're taking advantage of both Flashes and pretty unique ways, which I think makes the story interesting for me.
Yeah, and the thing with Barry, it's kind of revealed. There's a lot going on here, but it's basically kind of
Yeah.
revealed that like that thing that from the park, quote unquote, is kind of possessing Barry, and then it's kind of revealed that it's the brain of the Ultra Humanite. But then it's
Yeah.
not. It's like it's Grodd pulling the strings, so it makes you. It's really confusing because it's like at first you're kind of like you see in Barry's eyes, it's the same thing in the park. Those weird like kind of
Like
ovals.
the figure eight thing, yeah.
Yeah, and then it just seems like okay, you have this reveal, and then you have a reveal of the reveal. It's like, what's going on here with this? And you see like Mirror Master, you see the Folding Man, you see um Abracadabra, and it's just kind of I will say because I just read the issue again, I enjoyed it a lot more this time. I liked um Barry, not Barry, Wally's like kind of quest,
Yeah.
going through like the different wavelengths, and you kind of saw him like start to kind of get like a different suit.
Yeah.
Like he
I
used
I really
he
just like how it's just like a sci-fi story, I think.
yeah, yeah.
It's
Um
because it does have all the layers of what's been going on with the rogues and with all the other like developments in the main series. But it you get all of that, but it's like you also get a really like wild, crazy, high concept sci-fi story with Wally just going through these dimensions,
Yeah.
which I think is only benefits it because if it was just like I feel like if it was more of what we've been getting in the main series, I would not like it as much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just feel like it's kind of it's getting to a point where the high concepts are kind of being laid. They've been laid, so now it's kind of like, all right,
Yeah.
let's kind of get to more stuff.
Right. And I just hope there's no more like added to it. Like I think we're at
Well,
a point now where we can like maybe pump the brakes on that and just
yeah.
tell the story where it's at and not have to be like, well, look what else the Speed Force has is doing.
Yeah.
Which feels like the obvious pitfall for most Flash writers, or at least modern day, since
Yeah.
since Barry's been back, it's been the easy like Speed Force's problems.
Right. And like um what was I gonna say? I like how trippy the art really gets because like
Yeah.
at least the way like my brain kind of works with certain artwork as I kind of try to picture it sometimes. How would this look like in animation? And I feel like this would look like crazy. Something like this would look crazy in
Yeah.
animation.
Yeah.
Um,
Like the
like
like the,
there,
like the folded man would look really cool.
absolutely, yeah. There's like a part where the only thing it's called is like the realm of pure math, where it's just all kind of like shapes and stuff. Really
Yeah.
liked that. I was like, oh man, that really stood out. And they kind of look like the stillness.
Hmm.
Um, which like you know, it's just like thing after thing after thing. It's like we don't even like we get introduced to something else, we don't even know what the last thing is.
Right.
Um, and I like and really like I love how the lately with this story or like you know I guess this arc is since Wally's kind of on his own with this other entity that's kind of like encouraging him. I don't know like
Yeah.
the female
No,
looking figure.
the
I forget
resident.
the name. Yeah. Um, she's kind of encouraging him, which I at first I was like, is she like trying to keep him here? But it seems like she's encouraging him to get back to his life.
Yeah,
And
it's almost like therapy for him, you know?
yeah.
Which is
Um,
which is interesting, I feel, because he, the therapy that he got before was Sanctuary, and look how that turned out.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and I'm sure Spurrier's gonna do some like, there's gonna be some reason why the resident's doing this, or whether it is to get him back, so like he's at a point where he can be the hero he needs to be. But I don't know. It's interesting.
I feel like there is some connection between like the resident and Linda in a way.
Oh,
I don't know. Reading it again, I was thinking like because Linda's been acting off and
yeah, and like I'll say like. I feel like the one like main complaint that I like one of the consistent complaints I have with the book is some like the characters a lot of the time don't feel like they don't sound like themselves. And if there
mm,
is a connection between the resident and Linda, it could be a reason why she's acting weird. I don't know.
yeah. There was a quote that I wrote down just because I took notes because I read it I feel like all
Yeah,
these issues we've talked about this like I read it the first time and then I like to read it again and kind of write notes and stuff.
yeah,
And the quote was the stillness, emptiness, entropy, the death of change. And I liked because it kind of tied back it tied into like the end of the issue where Wally's just kind of it seems like he's kind of given up
yeah,
and you know with the I always forget the name of like the statues when he's looking at the statues kind of
oh, like where, like what the place is called.
yeah I forget what it's called but like I
uh
like how you know that kind of is symbolic in that way like it seems like certain moments are kind of just like frozen
yeah,
like
yeah.
it seems like you know when Wally sees like Irie or you know anybody it kind of just shows them as that statue form which I like. I think it's some cool like imagery with that.
No,
Um,
I agree because it's one of those things where it's like he's literally having to like slow down to
Yeah.
realize these moments and stop. And Spurrier's been playing on this like the whole run, like with him discovering that if he stands still long enough, he can phase into another dimension. But
Mm,
it's I like it's there's a lot here that is good, but I just think it gets bogged down with
yeah.
you
And
know what I mean?
this is gonna be, even where we're at right now, like I always just say this is kind of that run. Like it's not like the first run you give someone to get into Flash.
Oh yeah, no way.
And it's gonna lose a lot of people, but like I at the same time I kind of like that it's not gonna be like that bandwagon kind of run, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
like everybody
we can enjoy it for
there's
what it is. You know what I mean? Like because
yeah,
we are big fans.
being Flash fans, like we can kind of enjoy the things that are referenced, the characters that show up, the things that are changed or whatever.
Because I don't know
But
about you, but like I hate like sometimes when stuff is like too hyped and I go on Twitter and like I just get spoiled right away. Like X-Men 97. Like I
yeah,
normally wait to watch with my girlfriend later in the day and I always
yeah,
get spoiled by
I'll wait with
something.
my wife.
Yeah. So like I like how like this is like okay, I can like kind of go through like half my day and like oh, I'm gonna read Flash.
Yeah,
And it's because I mean maybe that's a bad thing because it's not, but
I mean, I
uh
don't necessarily, I mean, I agree with you.
I just feel
Like
like
Ultimate Spider-Man is a good example of that book that people will have bandwagoned on, and
yes.
you cannot even the second shops open on Wednesday and people or even before like because there are people that work in the industry that'll leak stuff or that'll post panels early or you'll get preview pages or you'll get something that shows up the night or the 2 days before and it's a spoiler and it's like
Yeah.
it's disappointing for one but also
Yeah.
like it's also nice to be on a run that kind of it's like it's a sleeper for a while and then once it's under its its feet are under it it's actually really good and people start to come around to it.
Yeah. And like no matter what, like if this run only goes like 20 to 30 issues, it's like a moment in time we can kind of look back and be like, oh, like remember when they tried to do this? I don't see I think it's gonna stick around. It seems like
Do you remember when I said that I thought it was only going to go to 12?
yeah, yeah.
I still kind of feel that way. So like every month when solicitations come out, I'm just expecting it to like not show up or them to say final issue.
Yeah. Oh, so
Because
okay, we
what?
got 12.
Oh, then I wonder if solicitations came out today.
Oh, look at this. I already
Wasn't
know
up
this is gonna be
yesterday.
cool.
Ralph Cressetti is doing a variant. Hold on a second.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's good.
That's crazy. Every once in a while there's like a variant
Here we
that
go.
I'm
Hold
like,
on. Let's read it. The Archangels have gathered their forces and are ready to bring forth the new age they seek, but the Flash family is gathered for a final stand while still dealing with public unrest with Waller's forces. Will it be enough to stop the Archangels? Well, the resident and Linda have to come to an epiphany and have to risk everything to get to Wally. Is this going to be the end?
I don't know. It's weird though. The resident Linda, there's some connection there.
Yeah.
There's something
Yeah, we were
there.
just talking about that, man. Like,
Yeah,
we're just like predicting the future. Come on.
yeah,
Because I was looking for like for solicitations yesterday because normally they're up like halfway through the month for DC. DC is usually the
Oh,
first one.
I'm gonna have. All right,
Yeah,
this
that one I
variant right
saw that
here.
the other day because they showed that early. Look, that is sick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that because have I ever told you the story about like Kid Flash with me, like a Kid Flash figure when I was a kid?
No, I don't think so.
So when I was a kid, I just remember I had this like Kid Flash action figure that I just
Is it
always
this
had.
one?
It's exactly like this.
No way.
It's
That's
exactly like
cool.
that. And I
That's
remember
cool, man.
like, when you're a kid, like every little kid has like
Yeah.
their tub toy kind of.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
always a
Was
Kid
that yours?
Flash. Yeah, it was just like that. Um,
That's so funny, man.
and I love that. I love Wally, as the
Yeah.
Flash, but like for some reason the Kid Flash costume has always stuck with me. So like
Oh yeah, it's
that's one of
iconic.
the major keys that I have is like the first appearance of the yellow Kid Flash suit.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to get this. Or hey, if you have it at your shop, I might have to pay a high price to get it.
Is it the incentive? What cover is it?
um It's just cover D, which
It's
kind
just
of
cover D, dude.
I'm a little
What is it, $5?
I'm a
I
little
got you, bro. I got you, bro.
nervous.
I
All right,
got you,
man.
bro.
If you find one, well, if you have one,
Listen. FOC isn't until when? August. August 5. I got you. I'll just add it to
dude,
my pull list. I got you, bro.
this might be the last issue, I think. Because look how many covers there are.
And oh man, and
This
look at
might
the
be
main cover too. It's like the whole
yeah.
family.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most people would be like, "Oh, it doesn't say like final issue." I mean, I know
Okay,
Marvel is
so
doing that,
okay,
but
so since we're talking about this, hear me out. I wonder if this is the final issue, and they're taking a break for Absolute Power because they're relaunching everything with the Absolute Comics line or whatever it's supposed to be. Which
yeah.
kind of disappointing because like some of these runs feel like they're in the middle and not even close to being done.
Yeah.
So like it's weird because like I want to say like Rom V's Detective has been going on for a long time.
It
He's
has.
almost
Yeah.
done. He's almost done with that, and he's a DC exclusive. So what's next?
Right.
Is he going to do Justice League Dark under the Absolute line? That would be my hope.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of a tangent, but like it just made me think about all this because of Absolute Power and everything else coming. I All these books are going to be wrapped up with that event.
Look at the comment. This sounds like the last issue. I would love it if Jeremy Adams would turn on the book.
Jeremy Adams,
Ooh.
Absolute Flash.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yo,
If he did do that, that'd be like the one thing I'd probably that'd be the only reason I'd be like, oh, do Barry. I would love to see
yeah,
Jeremy do more Barry.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and he's
Because
even he's
and
even said
here's the
that to me.
thing: is
Yeah.
I it would probably fix my one issue with Barry. Like the glaring one for me is he's just a crybaby all the time. Like he's so mopey all the time, and that wasn't him prior to his return in Rebirth. Like
Yeah.
I feel like ever since then, it's just been like his defining character trait is he's just like a sad sack.
Did you see did you listen on a hero story when they were talking about Barry and just how like he kind of peaked in the Silver Age and like
Oh, dude, I
JD was
maintain
saying
should have stayed dead.
yeah, JD was saying that like he wouldn't mind like if Barry and Iris like went back in time to the 60s or something.
Yeah, that's a perfect solution. I agree. I did hear them say that, but I agree. It would be like if you're not gonna kill him, like give him a break, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't I mean man, I it's crazy because I was really thinking that they were going to try to drag this out to at least like 24 issues, but it
I
looks like
mean,
this is it.
it's not impossible, you know what I mean? But I don't know.
Yeah, or it could be a
Maybe it's
break.
just not selling as strongly as they thought it would have.
But like
Because
I don't want like a reboot, so I don't know like like because we don't even know anything about Absolute Power. We don't know what's going to happen
after,
after
yeah,
this event.
yeah,
But like
exactly.
I don't need like
A new
another
52 2.0.
I don't need that. And I don't think that you need like a another Earth One. I mean, they're saying this is going to be like the absolute universe, which
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that name. But
Either. Yeah, I'm like I'm impartial to it. It doesn't matter. Like it's just I think if they're gonna commit to this, I just hope the stories are good.
I just hope like history doesn't repeat itself where then we get back into a new 52 rut where it's like, oh, we gained so much and then lost so much. You know what I mean? Like
Right. And I think
I don't think they would do that. You would hope DC knows better than to do that again. You would hope.
I mean, I don't know, man. I just honestly don't know. Like I feel like with both Marvel and DC, it's just one of those things where like sometimes I just ride it out and I'm just okay. We'll see what happens because I have no idea what kind of choices they're gonna make. Like sometimes like they would make you feel like they would make the obvious choice. You know what I mean? Like the one that's like sitting right in front of them and everybody's talking about like what they want. You know what I mean? But then they just do the opposite for like
Yeah.
unknown reasons. And so I don't I'm not even surprised whatever happens happens, I guess, at this point.
Yeah. Well, I think with the new Ultimate Universe over at Marvel, they kind of they made the best choice they possibly could. They put Hickman
Oh,
on
yeah,
Spider-Man
yeah,
like that. In it, the way I was just telling my brother about this, and I feel like I was maybe overselling it or overcomplicating it. It just seems like that perfect book where, like, if you just stop reading comics for a few years, you just can
yeah.
jump into that. You don't need to know. You don't really need to know a lot about the maker. You can watch like a video about the maker.
Right. Well,
Um,
like it's funny that you say that because I had somebody come into the shop, like, and it's probably been a couple months now, but like the conversation still sticks with me. He he's like, I haven't read comics since the original Ultimate Spider-Man. He's like, he's like that was like the only series I've ever read in full was that original Ultimate Spider-Man. He's
yeah,
like, I've heard of Jonathan Hickman. He's like, but I've never read anything by him. But the Ultimate name is what brought me in. He's like, I've had a pull. He's like, I had a pull list for that and only that. He's like, I would like to do that again. I said, all right, cool. Like, let's do it.
that's so cool.
Dude, like loses his mind every single month he comes in to talk about it now. Like he loves it. And I'm just like this book was made for people like him.
Oh, that's
Like
awesome.
and if you can do that, like and I don't even know if he's even reading the other Ultimate books or if it's just Ultimate Spider-Man. But if you can do that for somebody that doesn't give like a literal shit about comics other than the one that they've read, like
Yeah,
that's an absolute win. No matter what, like I think. So if
yeah,
DC can do that with even one of their books, like if they did Absolute Batman and we're able to get people that haven't read Batman since Dark Knight Returns, or whatever book
yeah.
that they felt like was the one Batman story they had to read, like it's a win for some people, I think. Like and like sometimes that's enough, but I don't know if they have it in them.
You know, like I just feel I'm really worried. I don't think DC is going to be able to do this, but I've thought to myself, what if Batman Superman World's Finest was like secretly this absolute universe the whole time?
Oh man, don't play with me
Like,
like.
dude, because like I'm if Mark Wade, like he's doing wonders with that series.
Oh
Like
dude, yeah.
that is great. But like I'd be totally cool with that. Like, because it's just like you feel like you're getting like timeless version, especially with Dan Moore. I mean,
Dude,
like he can make anything look cool.
unmatched. Like it's crazy. Yeah. The way he like designs these characters sometimes, like the ideas, because like have you listened to any of the interviews that Mark Wade does, like with some of these podcasts?
I've heard a couple of them. I need to.
Have
I haven't
you have
really.
you you know the Word Balloon show?
Um, no. Well, I think
Uh,
I've heard of it, but
I'll send you a couple links to interviews
yeah,
he's
send me a
done.
link.
Yeah, I will. He he talks about the way that like Mark will talk about the way that Dan draws and the ideas that he like has like to put on the page.
Was
And
Dan
he
Moore
like
on that? On the Was he on the interview? Because I feel like
no,
I did. I did.
I wish, bro. I so wish.
I listened to one that had both Mark and Dan on there.
Oh, I'll have to watch that. I don't know where
Yeah.
that one was.
I'll
Damn.
listen. We'll exchange links. I'll send you
Yeah,
my link. You send
absolutely.
me that.
Absolutely. But so he like talked up it was the arc when they were doing the metamorpho stuff, I think.
Mm.
And it was like the robot invasion or that was at whatever point in the book that was, you know what I
It's
mean?
like that AI war kind of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
yes, yes.
Android war.
So like, and then when he has like the big bat suit made out of the metal men, like he was talking about like Dan like designing it and all these things, and when he showed it to Mark, like he thought it was like the coolest thing. So it's like, man, if you can like he's just the best, the best creative talent.
Man, if I was Todd McFarlane, I would literally be like, all right, what's Dan Moore drawing? What's he coming up with? And just make a toy of it
Honestly,
right
honestly,
away.
man.
And
Like,
then
yeah,
make some
or
kind
I
of
would pay him.
incentive.
Design me a character, Dan Mora.
Wouldn't it be so cool if like, you know how like there's these incentive covers? Like what if like the incentive cover like came with like a Dan Mora figure, like you had to have that cover. Like that'd be
Did
crazy.
did you see the okay, speaking of figures, did you see the McFarlane Toys Dan Mora 1 and 6 Batman?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, it's cool, bro. It's cool. I
Oh,
I,
I'll
I
have to check
think
that
Dan
out.
Mora might have posted it on Instagram, but it's tight. It's like I'm not a big statue guy, and I'm not clearly not a big Batman guy, but it's pretty cool.
Huh. Yeah, I'll have to look for that.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. But and then the other part of that, like another interview he did with on Word Balloon, he talked about absolute power. And I don't know, maybe we did talk about this, but how he said it had gone through several hands before it reached his.
No.
So yeah, he had said that like I and I might be wrong. So if I misquoted, it's my fault. But I think he said that it went through Snyder. Like DC was like, "Hey Snyder, see if you can do something with what's been going on like all over DC and connect it like all into an event." And he kind of worked on it, and it wasn't like up to par for what they wanted. So they passed it on to I can't I remember if it was King or Taylor, but passed it on to like one of the Toms,
Yep.
and they worked on it a little bit, and they still couldn't get it worked out to the point where DC was happy. And then they passed it on to Williamson, and same thing. So then their last ditch effort, Mark Waid was like, yeah, they gave it to me, and I was able to make something of it, and this is where we're at with it.
Oh, well,
So
I remember hearing rumors like a couple months ago that, or it might have been on Rob Liefeld's podcast, but she just spoils everything. Like
yeah,
he
yeah,
just
no,
gives
he hates
all,
DC. He has no
yeah,
problem like leaking their stuff. Yeah, because that was the first time I had heard about the Absolute Comics line was when he did that interview.
yeah. That was pretty shocking. Like I remember like after listening to that, like I looked online and I was like, there's nothing about this. Like I don't even know what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
because he was like dead set. He's like, yeah, they're doing an Ultimate Universe, and it's going to be led by Scott Snyder. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Well,
I'm like, that's a
I
bold claim, dude. Like,
I just feel like it'd be kind of cheap to have Scott Snyder do like Batman again because he like and it's weird because like a lot of people don't realize like because at the time Batman was selling so well like that's
yeah,
the one of the that and Green Lantern like the only two books that didn't reboot, they just kept going,
yeah, yep,
you know, like even my brother like sometimes he forgets that like that's not like a full on reboot. Like, because when you read
yeah,
that first issue, like it shows like all the Robins, which like it goes through a lot of weird timeline stuff because they did like a full timeline of like 5 years. And it's like, you're telling me all this
yeah,
history of Batman happened in 5 years? Like, it's crazy.
yeah, right. Which is a little bit of a tangent, like which is kind of my problem sometimes with the sliding timeline that Marvel uses, because like, but then they'll also like not use it sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like sometimes it'll be like, this event just happened like 5 years ago, but it happened like decades ago.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know.
It is
I,
crazy.
I've that's like, I mean, that's just a continuity thing, and it being comics and having to keep a certain status quo, I guess. But
Well, like post like rebirth. Well, I don't even want to say it's rebirth. It's so weird with all like the events, but like we're kind of at a point where like everything has happened in DC. Like everything that's ever happened has happened in a way.
yeah,
Which has always been like the Marvel method, but um I don't know. I honestly what I'd love to see is Mark Waid finally do a Batman run. Because I feel like that's the name right now. If you want to compete with Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man, you put Mark Waid and Dan Mora on like an absolute Batman.
yeah. And does he have any interest in like writing a Batman solo book?
Well, I listened to I re-listened to the A Hero Story interview with Mark Waid, and like it's so
Yeah,
weird like hearing like certain things because at that point he wasn't even back at DC.
yeah,
So
that's
like
right.
you know World's Finest wasn't even a thing yet, and like he did mention that he like is like, oh, I feel like I would have a few Batman stories in me. So I'm like, now it had the wheels turning. I was like,
Yeah.
that'd be the move to make, but
Has
they
has he? He hasn't done like a Superman run, has he? Like for the main Superman?
no, he's just done like he's
Like,
done
yeah, he's done
Birthright.
like Birthright, yeah,
um
and
he
then some
did
other
something
stuff.
for
Yeah,
Death Metal. He did like a Superman story with
yeah,
Francis Manapul on art. It was really cool.
that's right. Yeah, he did do that. You're right.
But yeah, I don't know.
I would love to see a Mark Wade
I
absolute
just
Superman.
I just feel like if you're gonna, you know, if they're gonna do like this absolute universe, they gotta make
Yeah,
it
I
count.
mean, right. I mean, Batman's your guy no matter what. So you
Yeah.
may as well get Wade on it. But it's just personally, I would rather see him on Superman.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just this is my certified Batman hater day.
I just feel like it, you know, with this new Ultimate Universe, like you got like the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
perfect number of titles right now. I know it's gonna expand, But like, if you are only gonna do, let's say, like 4 or 5 titles for this new all absolute universe, like, what do you do? Like, you got to do Batman, you got to do Superman, you do maybe like a Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Um, I mean,
I
I'd
mean,
love to see like a maybe a new take on Aquaman because Aquaman hasn't had a book in so long.
yeah, Aquaman and Flash, and you can keep all the characters there just on Earth. You know what I mean? Like you don't,
Yeah,
and
you just got to
I
streamline it,
and
kind of.
yeah, and I think the best part about that is because then that gives you you have your Batman book, which is all street level stuff, and then you have your Superman, which is going to be all your,
Cosmic
it'll still
stuff.
be on Earth, but it'll be like a global level. But then it has you can still connect it to cosmic stuff. But then you have like Flash, which is street level, but it has a sci-fi vibe. You have Wonder Woman and Aquaman to connect you to the mythology and the magic, at least in
Yeah,
the meantime.
I'm just worried that this isn't going to be like a an imprint. It's going to be just like that banner that they
Re
tack on the titles,
Yeah.
which like Dawn of DC, I feel like just never really got anywhere. Like it never like
No.
the only when I think of it, I just think like, okay, you got Williamson on Superman, you have in terms of like, rebooted titles like um fresh creative team, like you think like Tom King, Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
Jeremy Adams, Green Lantern, Spurrier, Flash, Williamson. Was that when did Williamson start Superman? Was that Dawn of DC?
It was like the one of the first
One of the
titles.
first titles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when Infinite Frontier came out?
Yeah.
That like
You know,
came and went so quick.
they all do, man. The Rebirth banner lasted what, not even 2 years?
Yeah,
Like that was
I wish we'd
crazy.
go back. Like I just remember that I was so into that. I feel like even still, like I think of that as like a major kind of touchstone. Is like
Oh yeah,
there's still like a
absolutely.
lot of good titles like there. There's still titles that I would go back and reread probably from that era, you know?
Is it like, obviously hindsight's 2020, but like when I look back at like New 52 and then Rebirth, and if that had been one cohesive story, I feel like, and with minor adjustments, of course, like you could have really made something of that and made that the New 52. Like had they done what they did with Batman and Green Lantern with everybody and kind of like just got rid of all of the excess stuff that wasn't really like a critical success or people
Yeah.
didn't enjoy, and it was just like very streamlined in that way for everyone. And then you have the reveal that it was Dr. Manhattan and he was the one pulling the strings and changed the timeline. It would have been awesome. But,
Yeah.
that's just not something that wasn't something that was ever considered or even like on the table when they were doing the New 52. It was just a way for them to reboot,
Yeah. And
because
like
of the
it's
lack
just a
of
weird
interest.
time. Just a weird time. Like Jeff Johns was in and out, kind of. But
Yeah. I mean,
um,
he's out good now, at least for now.
yeah. Um,
JSA got delayed again.
yeah, I stopped reading it just because I'm like, I
Dude,
just don't
I've
I
got
don't
three
feel
issues left, man. I just need to finish it already.
I don't even remember. I think I stopped like 6.
And it's funny because this is kind of where I was at with Doomsday Clock when it started doing this too, where it was like delay after delay after delay after delay. I was like, I can't do it anymore, man. So I dropped that, but it's only like $3, so I just can't. It's whatever,
Yeah,
I'll read. I'll get it when it comes out. The
gotta
good
find.
Ghost Machine's just been all right.
Yeah,
I've been,
I'm enjoying it. I still got to read Redcoat, and I actually still have to read the first issue of Rook.
Brooke was
Um,
okay. I just
yeah,
think it's gonna take some time to get some of the stuff out there, and I think it'll be okay. It'll be fine.
yeah,
Red Coat was pretty good. Issue 2 was good. I like that.
yeah. I
Geiger,
gotta read it.
Junkyard
Geiger.
Joe's
Oh,
coming back into Geiger, dude.
I know, dude. Geiger's great. I love Geiger.
Yeah, man. I think it's I after reading the issue ones, I think Red Coat was my favorite, but I think after issue 2, like Geiger was the superior issue. It was great.
So this is the last issue.
Yeah, dude. It's been like TBD like 1,000 times.
When did this come out? July. Oh, it didn't come out yet.
Nope.
What issue are they on?
These are inaccurate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like I'm pretty sure the July 2nd is moved to the, let me see. I want to say the 24th or the 23rd, whatever that week is.
I think I stopped at
I
issue 5.
yeah,
I'll read it all eventually, but I just kind of I when I
yeah,
heard
just wait
that.
till it comes out in trade in 10 years.
Oh, I'm just gonna I'll just read it on DC Infinite.
Yeah, true. Good point.
I have that premium subscription, so
The Ultra, whatever it's called.
yeah, the Ultra, yeah. So like a month after it
How do
comes
you
out,
like that?
I mean, it's pretty great. JD and I actually split it, so like
Oh, that's cool.
whenever there's like a title because he was telling me he's like, oh, you should really read Williamson Superman. It's really good, and I'm like,
It is
ah,
good.
like just too
It's
many
not bad.
issues. He's like, dude, look, you have Infinite, like you can just literally you can catch up
Read
to
it.
like the most recent issue,
Yeah.
like it's kind
How
of cool,
long
like
after how long after the issues come out do they get put up if you have the Ultra?
so literally when the next issue comes out in print, the issue before that goes on Infinite.
Oh, that's good. That's
So
tight.
you're
Only a month. Not maybe not
yeah,
even a month sometimes. That's good stuff.
and I mean it really helped me like cut down on a lot of things too,
Oh,
because I'm
I'm
like,
sure.
oh,
I'm sure,
just
yeah.
it's the way to
And
go.
I've been I've been kind of thinking, I don't know, man. DC's been a weird spot for me right now. Like some books are good and some things I'm just like I could literally just be okay and if I wasn't reading it.
That's how I feel about a lot of the Marvel stuff right now, and I'm starting to
Yeah.
feel that way about X-Men, which is very unfortunate.
I mean, hell, dude, they've got what 12 books lined up before the end of the year already.
I'm like 2 issues behind on
They just don't learn, dude. They just
the event. Yeah, I don't know, but like
I
the
mean, the
thing
only
about
thing that
me,
I've really enjoyed.
oh no, you cut out. What did you say? Your computer died?
Hold on.
I was gonna wrap it up anyway. Do you gonna hop back in for a second or? All right, I'm gonna pause recording.
Must do it on my phone. That's so funny.
All right, he's back.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. My video's not up. I'm not sure what's going on. Or is it? Can you see me or no?
Yeah, I can
Oh,
see you.
okay. Okay. The screen wasn't loaded. All right. Yeah, sorry. My computer died.
So what were you saying? You were saying were you talking about DC
What was I
Infinite
saying?
or titles? Oh,
Oh
X-Men.
yeah,
We were talking
like
about X-Men.
yeah, like I don't know. It's just like they're falling into the same thing they always do. Like let's just do a bunch of books right out the gate. And it's like, why?
Yeah,
Half of these books are probably not gonna mean much. And are who are even some of the creators are putting on them? Jeff Thorne, who likes who likes his stuff.
I know, and I love
Like
X-Force too.
like not to be like a shithead about it, but like from as far as I know, nobody really liked his Green Lantern run. And the dude was like, "It's gonna be the best thing ever," and I was like,
Yeah. Well,
"Who said that?"
my problem with a lot of these X books getting announced is like there's certain they always do this where they'll make a title for a character and
Mhm.
either it'll be a mini series or they'll realize it's
Yep,
just not going to sell. Like
and they'll
it's
cancel it.
cool that they got to do it's cool to do a Phoenix book, do a Storm book, but like that won't sell. Like Wolverine barely sells sometimes. Like I don't even Wolverine's my favorite Marvel character and I almost never read his ongoing because I'm just like,
That's that's crazy, man.
yeah, like because well, especially with Ben Percy for a while,
Yeah,
Wolverine was just like the companion to X Force, which I was like, nah.
yeah,
Um, which I wasn't reading X Force at the time, but it's been the best. It's been the longest running title out of anything.
that's true.
Like
Yeah,
50 issues.
yeah.
Um,
Wolverine's about to cross 50 and then finish there.
yeah. Well, everyone told me with his X Force is like because I read the first trade and I was like, this is awesome. Like this is I'm gonna shift to read this. They're like, oh, just the first arc's really good. I'm like, oh, okay. but I still
Like,
want to read
don't
it.
read the
Just,
rest. Save yourself the trouble.
but I mean, if it gets to 50 issues, he's got to be doing something
Yeah,
right. Um,
yeah.
but I don't
I
know.
mean,
Saladin Ahmed, he's got a good track record
yeah.
lately.
I
Maybe
mean, Mark,
I'll give it a
you guys
chance.
got lucky, man. You guys stole my artist, bro.
Oh,
Martin
what's his name?
Cocolo.
Yeah, he did that. What was it Banner War?
Yeah, he did. Well, he did the first arc
Yeah,
of Immortal Thor too, and it's
yeah. I don't know.
what I don't
I
want to. I
might.
don't. Again, I'm not nothing personal. I hope he leaves Wolverine after a while and comes back to Thor so he can do the big stuff later on.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Wolverine. It's weird. Like he's my favorite Marvel character, but I find a lot more often than not his best stories are like when he's in another book,
Yeah,
which is like very, some people might get pissed about that, but like I've read so many single issues of Wolverine. Like I mean, like
yeah.
the Claremont stuff is the best, and there's like Larry Hama and all that, but like
Mm.
there's a lot of like nothing when it comes to
Are
like
you going to give this Wolverine a shot at least?
I probably will. Probably got to cut some things my pull list. But I'm
Yeah,
definitely gonna read like the adjectiveless X-Men and then maybe
yeah.
Wolverine.
I'm on.
But
I'm reading that because it's by Jed McCann. I'm reading like pretty much everything else he's writing, so
yeah,
I'll give it a
but
shot.
yeah, man. We'll wrap this up.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't talk a whole lot of Flash annual, but it was like it.
We
We
covered all the
talked
big
about
points.
yeah, like it was good. It was fine. I don't know. I just if it's the end soon, then I don't know that it's going to be like the greatest Flash run or like something that is comparable to Immortal Hulk or Alan Moore Swamp Thing like they had hyped it up to be.
Yeah, well,
You
it'll be a
know?
moment in time, really. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It
we'll
would be one of
see.
those things that we just it came and went. I guess we'll see how
I
it
know
ends. I guess.
I feel like we were talking about the issue, and then all of a sudden, when we realized the 12th could be the final one, we were like, "Oh wow!" And then we just started going thinking about it. But it's fine. You know what I
Hey,
mean? Like, there's a lot going on in this issue, and
yeah, yeah,
but it's just kind of pushing the same stuff that's been going on. But
yeah.
I think
Exactly.
I the notes I wrote down, I kind of covered everything about
Yeah.
it.
No, I
I mean,
agree.
if you any more than that, just go read the issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I get because it's stuff that I can't even really explain. I don't even know what the hell it is. Like
Yeah.
so. Yeah,
But all right,
good
man. Well,
stuff.
thanks. Appreciate you always coming on and talking to me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me again.
I mean, we'll see what happens after issue 12, but
We'll see. I mean, hey, maybe we'll be reviewing Absolute Flash one day.
Al
You
Ewing
know,
on Flash. Imagine
I would
that.
actually no. I
Yeah.
talked about this. I would kind of be down for Ryan North, the guy who does Fantastic
Mm,
Four right now, to do. And I'm gonna
yeah.
say it. I would not be opposed to it being Barry because he's a smart character, and Ryan North is a smart writer. Like he writes the Fantastic Four read really well, especially he gets the sciencey stuff. So it would be cool.
All right. Well, hopefully it'll happen. But all
Fingers
right,
crossed,
man.
bro.
Always good talking to you, and we'll talk
Yeah, man.
again a month from now. I
I mean, wait, maybe in a couple weeks if Flash comes out again
think it
soon.
comes out in 2 weeks. So, all
All right, in
right,
two
man.
weeks then.
We'll talk
All right,
then.
dude. Peace.